Hello again, and welcome back to Reinfrastructure. This is episode 1B of 3, all about Hudson Yards. I couldn't get all the video for this one because my phone would have died before I got to the final section, so a lot of this is just audio with the images overlaid on it. But I hope you enjoy it, and thank you for watching. Here you go. Our first building for part 1B is 515 West 38th Street, also known as Henry Hall. It's going to be 30 stories tall, and it'll have 225 apartments, which has about 50 or so that are going to be affordable housing, but all the apartments are going to be pretty small at about under 1,000 square feet, and it's going to be 360 feet tall, which is respectable. Short for that neighborhood, but outside of it, that'd be pretty large. I certainly can't talk about this area and not talk about the High Line. It was a old railroad that was used to transport meats to the meatpacking district from like the train yards, and now they turned it into a park, which they're expanding year on year, and the most recent addition was it twisted up to the river and up to 34th Street, and the next addition will send it over to 10th Avenue on 31st Street, and it'll have a little square park there, elevated of course, and that should be cool to see. The next building is actually a pair of buildings, 451 10th Avenue and 511 West 35th Street. It'll make up a complex of about 1.4 million square feet, with the first one, 451 10th Avenue, being about 415,000, with 400 condos and 70 floors, while the next one is going to be about double the size, and I'm guessing it's going to be about 1.5 times the height, so maybe 900, 1,000 feet. That's just my guess. Our next building is 520 West 41st Street. It has very little information about it, and from what I can gather, it will be two buildings that are connected, right at the mouth of the Lincoln Tunnel, right about here. And the first one will be about 700 feet tall with 57 floors, while the next one will be a little over 1,000 feet tall with 100 floors. This is a very early plan, and I can't even tell you whether it'll be offices or residences, like residential. Of course, that means that people would be living right at the exit of the Lincoln Tunnel, but I'm sure it'll fill up. It might not be prime real estate, but people will move in. But this is a very early plan, and it's being developed by Silverstein Properties, and they have a lot of buildings here in the city, so it'll probably happen, just I don't really know when. And it will be a little more than 1.5 million square feet. The next building is 476 11th Avenue. It will be a mixed-use building between residential and office, with about 2/3 for office, 1/3 residential. And there's no news on how tall it's going to be or when it's going to be finished because it's caught up in legal troubles, so not much progress has been made, but I'm sure as the other buildings around it rise, this one eventually will as well. Another building will be 480 10th Avenue. It will be a community center with 180 affordable apartments and a whole movie theater, and it will be finished in 2020, and it'll only be 18 floors tall. I say only, but that's still pretty tall. But that's important. It has only affordable apartments, which is a big issue in this city, so that should be very helpful. 445 West 35th Street is a bit east of most of these videos, but I'm still going to count it because it's west of the Lincoln Tunnel. It's 445 West 35th Street. It will have 125 apartments over 12 floors, and 120 feet tall. And it'll be a nice change of pace from the rest of the neighborhood because it's going to be kind of shorter. And it'll only be about 100,000 square feet, but it's going to have a community center, and it's going to have a lot of fun things for the people who live in the neighborhood. Next we move on to Block 675, as it's called. It is going to be built to demonstrate how a modern rezoned area of New York could work. They've rezoned an old industrial section of the city into a high-density residential section, and they will eventually add an air pumping building to allow for the Gateway project, the new tunnel for high-speed rail that'll connect to Penn Station, to be built. And I'll talk about that in a later video. But the first of two buildings that are planned to be built there is 601 West 29th Street. It'll be built in 2021, and it will be residential with almost 1,000 apartments, 30% of those affordable housing, with 62 floors being 700 feet tall. That's pretty tall, with 15,000 square feet of retail space. The next building is about half the height. It's 606 West 30th Street, also on the block. It'll also be completed maybe a year after the other, and it will only have 219 apartments, but still 30% of affordable housing. And this one will have 22,000 square feet of retail space, so still a lot more. While I was standing here in the shade, I decided I'd do a video about, or I'd do a section about 3 Hudson Boulevard, which I can't exactly find. I've been searching for at least 20 minutes and it's just nowhere to be seen. So I'll just do it right here. This building, it's gonna be huge in every sort of the word. It's gonna be 2 million square feet. That's huge. That's bigger than the Javits Center is right now. It's gonna be in a full office building, full office. 67 floors tall, and it's gonna be 940 feet. There was a plan back in 2016 for it to be 1,100 feet, but that got changed and modified down to 940. It will be completed in 2021, and the floors will have almost no columns whatsoever, and it is rated LEED Platinum, which is very good for the environment. And a second building I wanted to talk about, which probably won't happen, but I'm hopeful for it. If it does, it'd be pretty cool. It's called the Hudson Spire, and it would be the tallest building in the US. It would be 1,800 feet tall. I mean, there's really a small chance of it happening, but I'm hoping. It'll be 110 floors tall. It would just be a huge building in this area. And for this area, I think it would fit in. So if anyone who has sway is watching this, I say build it. Man, this courtyard really has a lot of good stuff around it. Right behind me here is the spiral. It's the ditch, not the building behind it. It is being built or designed by the notorious BIG, Bjarke Ingels Group. Bjarke Ingels, who is a architect from the Netherlands, I'm pretty sure. Well, he has designed a lot of buildings, including one about, I think, a mile south of here. Well, this building will be $3.2 billion, but it's going to be about 3 million square feet, 2.85 to be exact. And it will be occupied about 1 million square feet of it by Pfizer Pharmaceuticals. And it will be about 1,000 feet tall with 65 floors. And the whole building's an office building, no mixed use whatsoever. And it will have a garden that climbs around the outside, like a pyramid almost, all the way to the top. I'll show, throughout this video, I'll be showing pictures of it. It has a very open floor plan. It has great views of everything. And each of these gardens are worth 2 floors, so really going to be beautiful. And construction's already happening. Over there are some workers. And they say it should be completed in about 2022. Oh, and yeah, sorry. That's it for part 1, okay? Part 2, which is coming soon, will talk all about Manhattan West, that building over there, and that whole project. There are like 5 buildings or so. And then, of course, part 3, all of the Hudson Yards stuff. See you next time on Reinfrastructure.